Hi there. My name is Mike Ebert. I'm the Director of Software Engineering at Indicio, and today I'll be showing you a demo of Proven, Holder Plus, and Amazon Verified Permissions. Typically, medical systems will have a lot of large images for medical purposes, and they can be so big and so numerous that they're not practical to share, to just send and make a copy of. And so often the holders of this data, these health systems, will build portals that allow external parties to log in and then view each other's data and request just the bits that they need. Because of this large data size and the overlapping systems, you end up with things that can get kind of complex. So we thought, can we grant permissions on the basis of data contained in a verifiable credential? And if so, that would allow each hospital to manage their own users and their own policies, and then integrate users from other organizations without having to integrate the full backend systems. So what you see on the left here is my web browser, and it's showing a portal for a fictional hospital, the InterSelect Regional Hospital. And this is coded with Node, Express, and React. And on the right, you see Holder Plus, which is an Aries-based mobile agent and wallet. And then some pieces that are behind the scenes that you won't see, but that have a big influence here are, of course, Amazon Verified Permissions, and then Aries Cloud Agent Python, or Akapi, and Proven, an Akapi controller. So what we'll do first here is we'll walk through getting an account, and then we'll get a credential. We'll query Amazon verifiable permissions, and then we'll access the data. So I'll start with getting an account here. We'll go to create an account, and in order to view the medical data, I need to be a professional that's associated with the health system. And I'm filling this out manually today, but this could be done in an automated fashion using an existing database, using an API, could be tied to an existing human resources system or something like that. And we're doing all of this through a single web portal, but you could have multiple systems involved where one does the issuing and then a different one does the verifying. So we'll start with Mike Ebert today. And I'll start off by being a doctor. And we'll be in the neurology department, we'll say. And now that we've entered the data to create our account, we get an invitation that allows our mobile software to find the endpoint and keys and identifiers that are needed to connect to the backend system. And as soon as the system has established a connection, then it makes a credential offer of our account data or employment data to the mobile application. So we can click in and view the data, and then we can accept it if we like it. And after the credential is accepted, we've just created the account and it knows it's us. So it takes us directly to the dashboard. And just to demonstrate how the login process would work, we're going to go ahead and sign out, and we will sign in again using a credential instead of a username and password. So I'll scan this QR code to establish that connection again. And the system's going to ask us for our credential. And when the portal asks us for our credential, there are two different basic kinds of checks that we've programmed in here. The first one that we're doing now is we'll share our credential, and it's looking at our attributes and then sending those to Amazon Verified Permissions for some policies that say, are we allowed to access the system? Just to see that it exists and get in and look at this portal here. And then when we go to take any further sensitive operations, especially if we're using a zero trust model, it's going to ask us for our credential again to make sure we're still connected and it's still us. And then it'll look at our credential and those attributes perhaps a little more thoroughly or specifically to see if we have the rights to access a particular patient and patient's data. So we'll go ahead and we'll look at John Doe here. And pardon me, the system's asked us for our credential again. And we'll go ahead and share it again. This credential request could be cached. It's configurable to be cached for a certain amount of time if you want. So you could say if it's within 5 minutes or 20 minutes or 24 hours, then we won't ask you for your credential again. But you could set it all the way down to 0 so that every time you do a sensitive operation, it'll ask again. And as you can see, because our role and department matched the rules that allow us to view different images, we can see all manner of different images for this patient that, whatever would be relevant to our role as trying to diagnose a patient or something like that. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do the process again with an account or an employee that has fewer permissions. So I will sign out here, and then off screen I'll reset my wallet here. Okay, so now you can see I've reset my wallet. You don't have to watch the process of reconfiguring it. It's not super entertaining or exciting. But now my name in the app is no longer Mike. It's going to be James, and we'll go through the same steps as before. So we'll create an account. We'll be a professional, but it's the same hospital. But this time, instead of being Mike, I'll be James Hansen. And instead of being a doctor, we'll be an X-ray imaging tech, so that my access to images, for my particular role in the radiology department, it's likely limited to just the type of images that I'm allowed to record and then refer to for perhaps like a follow-up scanning or something. Maybe I need to calibrate my follow-up a particular way. So we'll flip through these steps pretty quickly since you've seen them before. And we don't need to log out and log back in because you've seen that. So we're going to go back to John Doe so you can see that the access rights are different here. We'll share the credential again. And as before, we're allowed to look at John Doe's profile here. But the image types that I can view are restricted now. So because I'm an X-ray imaging tech, perhaps the policy is that I don't need to see these other types of images. Maybe I only need to see X-rays because that's what I know and is relevant to my job. Okay, so that's a walkthrough of our demo use case here. And one thing that makes this demo unique or different is that authorization systems generally don't use credentials yet. And credential systems aren't generally aware of authorization systems yet. The two are a really good fit for each other, but since verifiable credentials are just starting to get some traction, the integration of the two hasn't happened commonly before. I don't know of any other examples at the moment. And there may be some out there, but I don't think there are tons and tons. And this is really important because the integration of these two systems can enhance trust of the data transfer, and it can simplify the integrations. As long as the various organizations that are involved can agree on a set of schemas, then they can verify each other's data and integrate much more easily. They don't need direct integrations. The credentials provide the bridge where the user holds them on their device and carries them from whatever organization they're from to whatever organization they need to access. And that can dramatically reduce the network complexity of integrating lots of different organizations. And if you can reduce complexity and enhance trust, then you can save a lot of time and money and confusion and enhance security. So a lot of the code or work around managing who the users are, and especially the users from other systems that aren't yours, that can be offloaded to the credential systems. And then a lot of the business logic about the policies and who can access what, rather than having to constantly update the server or the code that manages the business logic there, you can offload that to an authorization system.